My sister's is the 14th.
Ah, 19th, 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 19th,
Yeah, 19th. Dale's is today? Okay, good.
19th, 19th. We're live.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mindful Movement. I'm Chris, and I want to help you move your body in a pain-free fashion. So this class is designed to give you moves to engage your muscles into proper movements, to get those joints flowing pain-free. So you can get up and jump into like this crazy exercise class if you want. You don't have to worry about hurting yourself when you're lifting things, or if you go golfing, or if you play sports. I'm going to keep you injury free because we're going to teach our muscles how to contract properly. So, with doing these movements, we eliminate tightness by creating strength in certain areas. And today, we're going to just flow through the whole body. On a lot of these other classes that you can pick up on the recordings, I've picked like body parts, like let's open our hips, let's open our ankles, let's do our shoulders. But let's just do the whole body today and move right through the whole body. So go ahead and get a seat. Get a comfortable seat. If you can sit like this is great. But if that's not comfortable, you can sit like this or like this, however you want. If you're sitting like this, I'm going to ask you to mix it up a bit. Let's take our legs and cross them the other direction. We have a default way that we always go to when we go to cross our legs. And this other leg, like, why can't I ever be in front? You know? So let's give it an opportunity to be in front. So I want you to sit comfortably and we'll start with the shoulders, all right? And I want to think you to think of your shoulders more than this arm hanging right here at this joint. I want you to think of your shoulder blade and your collarbone. It's all connected. Collarbone, shoulder blade, and then the arm connects into that. Okay, so the arm's kind of secondary to the shoulder. So let's move the shoulder blades this morning. What I want you to do is picture your shoulder blades gliding up your back as you lift your shoulders up toward your ears. So you think of actually you're lifting your shoulder blades up on your back. Now let's push those shoulder blades down our back. So put your mind on the shoulder blade and push them down towards your waist. If you have back pockets, push them down into your back pocket. Great. Now let's go ahead and lift it up again. Lift it up, lift it up, lift it up, and push it down. Push, push, push. So your mind is not right here on your shoulders. Your mind in this mindful movement is in your shoulder blade. Keep that mind in your shoulder blade. Let's do it one last time. Go ahead and squeeze up the shoulder blades. Think of the shoulder blades moving up your back. And then take the bottom points of those shoulder blades and push them down into your back pockets. Push them down there. Awesome. So now, if the shoulder blades are moving properly, the rest of this joint has more of an ability to move and not get hung up in certain areas. So we're going to do some arm circles. And we're going to do it specifically with our hands in a specific position. This is called the golfer's grip. Don't ask me why. But what I want you to do is open your palms real wide, spread your thumbs way out. So you're opening up those palms. And from here, I just want you to fold the tips of your fingers down. So see how it's the tips of my fingers and I'm not making a fist. So I'm folding the tips of my fingers down. From here, let's straighten our arms out to the side and our palms are facing down. They're facing the floor, but make notice where your thumbs are pointing because that's the direction your arms are going to circle. So you go circle your arms in the direction of your thumbs and reach your arms wide. Reach them out from each other. Reach them apart. Now keep that golfer's grip. Keep that palm nice and wide and open. And let me show you why we're doing this. So as we do this, you should be feeling the motion up here in that shoulder capsule. We're actually sinking the rotator cuff muscles here. So if we're not doing this palm like this, go ahead and drop your arms down. Let's do it the typical way. So come up And you can just keep your hands loose, or you can make a fist, but just keep your hands loose and just circle, circle. Be mindful of where you're feeling this. If you're like me, I'm feeling this in my forearm. I'm not getting the motion from here. It's coming from more from here. So let's go back to that golfer's grip. Palms are wide open. Just curl the ends of your fingers down. Now this time we're going to have our palms up. So our thumbs are facing behind us, right? That's the direction we're going to circle. So go ahead and circle back. Circle back. Remember, we're reaching our arms way apart from each other. You've got this wide wingspan. You're going to take off. But circle, circle, circle. So we're syncing the rotator cuff muscles. They all are in charge of different degrees of motion in our shoulder. Our shoulder's our most movable joint, and it's our most unstable joint. So we can come up with quite a few ways to hurt our shoulders. This is a great way to just sync those muscles and make sure they're working properly. All right, drop it down, drop it down. So now let's just do a little bit of a neck roll, but we're not going to do an extreme neck roll. I want you just to gently take your left ear and drop it to your left shoulder. Just gentle. We're not yanking or pulling. Now from here, I want you to look up to the ceiling and then drop your chin down. We're still got that ear pointed towards our shoulder. And let's straighten our neck. So take your right ear towards your right shoulder. You may see a difference in how far you can go from side to side. From here, keep that ear towards your shoulder and look up. And then look down. And look up. And then look down. Good job, good job. Okay, that's enough for our neck today. So while we're sitting here, let's get the hips warmed up a little bit. We've got these hip creases that we're going to move from. We're not going to move from up here at the waist. We're going to move from here at the hip crease. So I want you to gently place your hands on your knees, and let's just roll around from that hip crease. Roll around. Get those hips loosened up. These are great moves to do first thing in the morning after several hours of sleeping in one or two positions. Our body needs to get all the fluids flowing through it, get all the tissues warmed up, get the juices flowing. All right, so we've done that. And now what I want you to do is think of your rib cage. We're going to move our rib cage. We're going to rotate. What I want you to do, though, is I don't want you to be yanking with your shoulders. We're going to let the shoulders go along for the ride this time. So let's go into what I would call prayer hands and place our hands right here. And then take your fingers gently under your chin and bring your elbows up so you can get a nice little wrist action going here too. So what I want you to do is keep your chin in line with your sternum, your breastbone, right under your hands, and we're going to rotate our ribs. So we're going to rotate to the left first. So I want you to think of the right side of your rib cage going towards the left and come back to center. Do you feel the difference than if you just kind of went like this? So we're mindfully moving the rib cage. So let's take the left side of the rib cage over to the right side of the body, keeping our shoulders and our neck and our spine in line. We're just rotating it, bringing it out a little bit. But we're not using any of the body parts. We're using our torso. We're using our core. So let's go to the left. Nice job. Come back to the middle. And let's go to the right. So feel your spine twisting and rotating. We're kind of wringing out the spine. We're getting that part of the spine that is attached to your rib cage. That's your thoracic spine. And by sitting like this, our low back doesn't twist. but our rib cage does. So it protects your low back, your lumbar spine as you're twisting. So your torso is supposed to twist you and your lumbar spine is supposed to bring you forward and back. Let's get out of this seated position for a minute, loosen up the hips a little bit more. Just plant your feet in front of you on the floor. Sit up nice and tall. You can use your hands as kickstands. Get that spine nice and tall, and then drop both legs to the left. So that right hip will come up off the floor and come back to the center and then drop to the right. And this might feel different from one side to the other. Monitor. Our goal is to get our body symmetrical, but typically we're not. Go over and come back and over and come back. One more time to the other side. And I forgot to tell you guys when we started this class that we will want a yoga block. So I'm going to grab my yoga block. So grab a yoga block, grab a pillow, something that you can just place between your knees, okay? We want that for a little awareness. So let's go on our back. We're going to engage our lower abdominals, and we might as well start engaging them as we're headed towards the floor. So what I want you to do is take your block in between your knees. Go ahead and put your arms out in front of you. Pull your navel into your spine, and let's think of our vertebrae just rolling down to the floor. Our spine is rolling down to the floor, one vertebrae at a time. Take it nice and slow. Hold on with these abdominals. Take it slow and controlled. See how controlled you can be. And then drop it back to the floor. Good job. So once we're here, we're going to be kind of in what I would call a bridge position, all right? So you're going to have your feet on the floor. And the reason we've got this yoga block right here is it's going to keep our knees lined up with our hips. And it's going to give us a little tension there to keep the inside of the legs, our adductor muscles working properly. So from here, we're going to pay attention to our palms again. We're going to work these lower abdominals, but I want you to open up your palms like we did for that golfer's grip. We're going to keep our fingers open this time. Place your hands on the floor where you're comfortable. So your elbows might have to go out like this. You might go straight like this. But I want you to be able to suction cup your palms to the floor. So go ahead and place your palms on the floor and then let your fingers just drop and relax to the floor. All right, so we've got that set up. Now I want you to think of your neck. I want you to gently tilt your chin toward your chest and think of your neck pushing down into the floor. So you're rounding your neck towards the floor. What we're going to do next is we're going to pull our navel into our spine. So pull your belly button into your spine. And as you do, this pubic bone right here will gently tilt up towards your nose as your low back flattens into the floor. So we're using these abdominal muscles right here to shorten, to bring that pelvic bone up towards our nose. And it's going to allow the low back to lengthen, relax, and get strength from the front side of the spine. So you're holding this, and now I want you to release it. So you've got what we want to do. So this next one, I'm going to have you hold it for 6 seconds, all right? So go ahead, suction cup your hands to the floor. Tilt your chin toward your chest so you're gazing at the top of your knees. Pull your navel into your spine, pull it tight into your spine, and just feel that pubic bone rounding up towards your nose. Feel that low back moving towards the floor, and hold that. Create strength here. This is so good for your posture. If you have what we might call a sway back, and that anterior pelvic tilt, that's going to cause a lot of problems throughout the body. So we want to correct that. We want to get that spine nice and strong, and now you can release it. Release it, and we're going to let it release for a minute, and we're going to go back into it. So once again, press your palms into the floor. Fingertips are relaxed. Chin is towards your chest, so you're looking at the top of your knees, pushing your neck down into the floor. Now pull your navel into your spine, and you're rounding your low back into the floor. This is what is so important when we move through our day. Notice how our neck and our low back are going the same direction. You want that to be happening when you bend over. If you're looking down at the floor, you want your low back to round and your navel to come in tight. If you're doing a squat, you're typically looking up and your low back has an arch in it. Keep in mind, you want to keep the direction of the curve of your neck the same as your low back as you move through your day. All right, let's just do that one more time. So you're pressing your hands into the floor. You're pulling your navel into your spine. Pull it in tight, tight, tight. You're getting that little tilt. Things are starting to loosen up in that low back. You're creating strength up here, and this strength is telling your back, oh, we don't have to stay really tight. We don't have to hold you together. You've got these great abdominal muscles that are holding you together. All righty. Let's just take this yoga block away, release that, and we're going to open up the hips a little bit. So I want you to take your left leg, take your ankle and place it on your knee. And just let that knee drop open, okay? Now, typically people might want to just push that knee out to get a nice stretch. Well, these muscles that you're stretching are holding you in place because they want these muscles back here that squeeze and create that motion of opening this leg up to start working. So we're going to focus on these muscles on the back side of the hip to shorten and let the inside of the leg loosen. So what I want you to do is grab the back of your leg, and I want you to push your leg out into your hand. And as you're doing that, squeeze the back side of that hip. Squeeze the back side of that hip. And release. If you can't reach it, it's great to take a towel, and I should have grabbed that, but take a towel and put it through your leg, and then you're holding onto the towel and you're pushing your knee away into the towel. The whole time you are squeezing right here. There's several muscles on the backside of this hip that are in charge of opening up this leg, and we're shortening them, we're strengthening them. And just relax. You can grab your leg down here too, just so you have something to push into. So open the leg up, push into your hand into your leg, create some tension there, but where we're squeezing is right back here. All right, so let's just test that. Just go ahead and open it up. Did this loosen up a little? I hope it did. Let's go to the other side, okay? So take your right ankle and place it on your knee. And we're going to use the same principle. If you have a towel, you would be looping it through your leg right here. You would be holding the towel here, and you would be opening out into the towel. The towel would create resistance. I don't have a towel today, so I'm going to place my hand right here on the back side of my leg so I can push into my hand. And by doing so, I'm squeezing the back of my hip, and I'm opening this up. I'm opening this whole hip joint up into external rotation. So we're increasing external rotation here. And release. Let's do that again. So open up, squeeze the back side of that hip. Mindful movement. Put your mind in the back side of that hip. Open it up, open it up. Push that knee away from your body by squeezing, 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 doing a little isometric by pressing into your leg. And always while we're doing isometrics, don't hold your breath. Keep breathing, and release. Let's do that one more time. So go ahead and push your leg away. Push, push, push. Squeeze the back side of that hip. And release it. All right. What we can also do is we can take our leg, we'll switch legs again. We can bring that bent leg, the right leg, up and bring it towards us. But as we bring it towards us, I don't want you to pull this into a stretch. We don't want to stretch these muscles out that we just worked. What we want to do is we want to be right here. And once again, we want to actively push our knee away from our body. Open it up. We're not pushing this way. We're using these muscles to open up that leg. So I hope you feel the difference. Let's switch sides. So go ahead and take your right foot on your left leg, and I want you to bring your left knee up off the floor. This one could be a little tighter. You might not get as far on this one, or vice versa. But what I want you to do is mindful movement. I want you to tighten up the backside of that hip and just push that knee away from you. Push that knee that direction, not with your hand, but with the muscles on the backside of your hip. All right. So we're creating strength by strengthening muscles that open up, that are in charge of these movements. So let's go over to hands and knees. We're going to get in what we call the quadruped position. And I want you to be mindful of your quadruped position because we're creating that tabletop. We need that sturdy table. So our hands are directly under our shoulders. Our knees are directly under our hips. We don't want our hands way out here. We don't want our knees way back here. We've got to have that really strong table. Our back is our table. And we want to keep this kind of neutral. We don't want it sagging. We want to keep it neutral here. And the way to keep it neutral is to pull your navel into your spine. So once again, we're using those muscles. We're shortening these muscles in the lower abdominals. And we're going to just challenge that tabletop. We're going to take a leg or 2 legs away. So I want you to take your right arm and reach it away from you, but still keep that tabletop position. Pull it in tight. Now, if you can, hold that tabletop position. Take your left leg straight out behind you. You can have it gently placing on the floor. I want your low back engaged. I want your navel into your spine. Go ahead and lift that leg up if you can keep it steady. And I want you to reach long, reach long, reach, reach, reach. And go ahead and bring the hand down to keep the leg up. We're going to work the glutes just a little bit more. So I want you to take your leg down to the floor and then lift it up. Remember, we're doing this as mindful movement. So I want you to squeeze your glutes on the backside, but I also want you to be very mindful of not moving that low back. Pretend like you've got a glass of wine sitting right here on your low back, and you do not want to spill a drop of that wine. So what do? You hold those abdominal muscles really, really tight. So lift it up and down. All right, let's come out of that. Go ahead and sit back for a minute. And if you need to, you can roll your ankles or your wrists around. I know my anatomy. Okay, let's go back into that tabletop position. Let's do the other arm and leg. So what I want you to do is increase your strength right here. Pull your navel into your spine. Got that glass of wine sitting right here. Take your right or left arm out, right leg back, and reach them as far apart from each other as you can. Reach. Hold strong. Hold the navel in tight. We're doing this for your posture. We're doing this for your gait. As you walk, this is how your body moves. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Go ahead and bring that hand down. And let's just take the leg up and down. But remember, you're keeping the hips super still. Keeping those hips still. Slow, mindful movements. Good job. Okay, let's roll through the spine now. We're going to wake it up. We're going to do my version of a child's pose into a cobra. So what I want you to do now is we're going to take our low back. So we're going to take our navel and pull it into our spine. But as we do, I want you to drop your chin towards your chest. Remember how we spoke about having your neck and your low back moving in the same direction. So we've got our neck rounded and we've got our low back rounded. So pull your navel into your spine and try to get that curve going up to the ceiling. Your whole spine is curving. You're pushing your arms down into the floor. You're pushing your legs down into the floor. And you're pushing your navel up to the ceiling. So I want you to stay in this rounded position as you send your hips back toward your heels. So you're using your arms to push your hips back toward your heels, but you're staying in that nice rounded position. Once you're back as far as you can go, I want you to drop your elbows to the floor, relax your back, lift your chin. And so now we've got our neck looking up and our low back has got a curve to it. From here, I want you to take your chest, send it up through your hands, and come back up to tabletop. Let's do that again. Round your back up to the ceiling. Send your hips back to your heels. Drop your elbows to the floor. Lift your chin. Slide your chest up through your hands. And one more time, pull your navel to the ceiling. Push your hips back to your heels. Drop the elbows. Let the back relax. Chin goes up. You slide your chest in a cobra up through your hands. Great job. Great job. So let's do another stretch. One more stretch for the side body, okay? So we're going to go back into sending our leg back behind us. Let's curl both our toes. We're going to get a little ankle action in here as well. Ankles are very important to stay mobile. I'm going to come up just a little bit so you can see mine. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send my right leg back behind me. My toes are curled. Make sure you can see it. And we're just going to go back and forth. We've got that straight leg. We're going to go back and forth and move that ankle a little bit. Before you get out of bed, I encourage you to do some ankle rolls. Get the ankles moving before you stand up. If you don't have good mobility in your ankles, you could have problems in your hips, problems in your knees, or problems in your back. It can even translate up to your shoulder and your neck. So let's keep those ankles healthy. So now lift this right leg up, and I want you to take it across behind the back leg, and then take a peek around and find that right foot, and get that nice stretch up through your right body. And from here, we can give it that little back and forth of the ankle. And feel that nice long stretch created by strength up your side body. Good job. Let's do that on the other side. Bring the knee in. Extend the left leg back. We're going to do some rocks back and forth for our ankle. Back and forth. Get it mobile. Nice job. And then I want you to lift that foot, take it over across the other leg. Look around and find that so you're getting a nice little stretch all through the side body. And I want you to just rock back and forth with that ankle. Rock back and forth. All right. Let's go back to a seated position. This time, we're going to finish up with this. We're going to get a nice stretch through the hips. And I want you to take your left hand, place it back behind you. You've got your left knee in front here. Your right leg is bent back behind you. We're going to come up into a tripod position. So we're bringing it up here. From here, I want you to reach your arm up to the ceiling and go ahead and do a little rainbow with your arm. Going back to those shoulders where we started. Get a little rainbow. Now, to get that nice stretch here and to increase that stretch here, I want you to squeeze the back side of the body. Squeeze that back side of the body as we're pushing up into this position. Nice. Let's come down. We're going to switch our legs. So you're lined up kind of at the edge of your mat. If you have a mat, your knees are pretty much even on the same plane here. Now we're going to take our right hand behind us as a kickstand. And what I want you to be mindful of is to not scrunch down as you're lifting up. Keep a nice open space between your ear and your shoulder. So go ahead and reach up, keep that open space, Pushing your hand into the floor, you're reaching your other one up to the ceiling, but most importantly, we're squeezing our glutes here on the back side to open up this hip flexor. So once we're here, let's do a little rainbow with our hand. Open it up. Nice job. Doesn't that feel good? All right. I hope you have taken one or two of these moves and said, oh my goodness, that feels so good to my body. My body really needs this. And I'm going to do this move every day. So these are moves to teach you how to get your body ready for an exercise class, ready for your daily chores, ready for some athletic activity. Be mindful in letting your body know what it needs to do, keeping it balanced out so you don't get injured. So thank you for joining me today. We're here every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Bye-bye.